Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I just need contemplation over you. I'm not so systematic. It's just that I'm an addict for your love.
Happy Thursday. Welcome in. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I hope you had an amazing day. It was really warm out here in LA today. 90 degrees in October. Welcome to Indian summer. If you are not from LA or, haven't lived here, Indian summer is basically meaning that we get elevated temperatures in what should be fall. And we're definitely there. So listen, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. And of course, we have a lot to get into tonight. So let me give you a rundown of what we're going to discuss. But before I do that, make sure that if at any point during this conversation you want to call in, the phone line is 800-920-1580. We love to hear from you. We love to get your opinion on the topics. Weigh in. You can also catch up with us on social media, KBLA 1580 everywhere. I am at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Follow up, hit me up. Had a good time getting to know some of the listeners. They send me topics, DM me things they think I should be interested in. It's nice. So let's be a family and follow up. Also, download the KBLA app so you can take us with you on the go. Get all of the shows here on the station in one place at your convenience. We like that. So let me tell you what we're going to talk about tonight. First up, we're in a new season of The Kardashians on Hulu, right? A little racier, a little different. And of course, the forever storyline for the past few years has been Tristian Thompson and his escapades outside of Khloe, the son that he fathered at the same time he had a surrogate pregnant with Khloe, all of these things. Well, the aunt, her name is Kai, to Tristan's oldest son, Prince, the child he fathered with Jordan Craig, allegedly hooked up with Khloe while he and Jordan were still together. It's been disputed. Jordan says it's not, but here we are. We're going to get into what her sister had to say about Tristan as a parent, which is in stark contrast to what Kim Kardashian shared on an episode of the show. And Tristan actually also addresses his role, his cheating, and a couple of those other things. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into your guy 50 Cent. Now, we know 50 is a bit of a bully, a social media troll. He is going to, stir up some conversation, be annoying in general. So recently, he put out a video about why he won't attend a Puffy, for you newer people, Diddy, for you even newer people, Love, Sean Combs, party. Is he going too far? Is it just 50 being 50? Is it time for him as an entertainment mogul to stop the beef? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into former Dodgers star Trevor Bauer. He settled the civil suit with the woman that accused him of sexual assault. And he's made a YouTube video about information that he uncovered during the discovery process of the civil suit because he sued her for, I have to get the exact terminology, but basically, falsely accusing him and tarnishing his name. And she countersued. So he is revealing the evidence about her that was uncovered during the discovery process of the civil trial. And I can't lie, looks bad, sounds bad. So, is there something that should happen to her legally, even though he was never charged criminally? We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into the leak or the release of Sexy Red's personal time tape. We're going to talk about the moves that she's making, the reaction to it, and what the response is. Have we gone completely too far at this point? Sherry Shepherd also weighed in on that. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about the largest strike of healthcare workers that has ever taken place in the U.S. history. That also is happening right now. We'll get into the details of that. And more trending topics and headlines. But naturally, before we get into all of that, I have a couple of conversation starters that I want to get into where can't really get into the whole thing, but we want to touch on it a little bit. Now, last night we talked about SZA revealing that her relationship with Drake wasn't serious. It was pretty childish, not too much on it. She said it wasn't that big of a deal. But last night, SZA announced that she was going to have to postpone her Toronto show because she was sick and she wasn't able to give it a go. Well, Drake left a comment on the video and said he wants to open for her and that when she comes back, they're going to do it together. You know, holding his homegirl down. So maybe Drake had a little more feelings than something just being childish. Maybe at the time they were both trying to make their way in the industry, so there's a deeper friendship there. But he seems to be trying to let SZA know he's down for her. They also have a new single out, so Slime. Also, speaking of your guy Drake, looks like tomorrow's the day, 6 a.m. I'm not sure if that is Pacific or Eastern time, but 6 a.m. for all the dogs is allegedly supposed to drop. Drake released a video today for 8 a.m. in Charlotte. The video features his son Adonis in the opening, explaining his artwork. And then he goes into the song. I don't know. Some people feel Drake is kind of slipping, like he went for years not really missing. And right now, at least some of the stuff he's revealed, the last two singles, Slime, I think it's Slime something else, and now this, that it might be time that some shifts are happening in the kingdom. We'll have to see. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Jaden Smith, he wants you guys to get into his transformation. Jaden's in the gym. Jaden's buffing up a little bit. He posted, haters will post the one on the left and ignore the one on the right. Like, dang, can a man have his face? The photo on the left was him with pink hair, slim, gold fronts in. Now he's like in shape, working out, normal color hair. Jaden said, I'm going through growth. I have phases. Accept me as I am. You know, I like that about the Smith family. They're honest about just working through things. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We'll discuss that Tristian Thompson story, all that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, yeah, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTRCM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, VIPs, do you ever listen to Nicki Minaj on Queen Radio? We know when it initially started out, it was on Apple Music. It's kind of a different beast. And since then, it has arrived on AMP Radio. AMP was operated by Amazon. Of course, it was their live audio app. Featured a lot of different shows on there. They went the celebrity route, giving money to a bunch of people. They actually launched it last March, around the time that Clubhouse was still popping off, and, you know, they wanted to get in on the audio craze. Well, now it's shutting down. And we're not sure what's going to happen with Queen Radio as far as Nicki Minaj and the other audio functions that are happening there. But there seems to be a shift. Amazon is trying to cut costs aggressively. We know Spotify has cut back on some things. So something is bubbling. There is change in the air. Wonder where Nicki will send out her events now. Maybe just Twitter. We'll see. Also, listen, we're still talking about the Renaissance Tour, naturally. We know December 1st, the documentary and concert film, I guess it's a mixture of both, will hit theaters, the AMC theaters. So you got your $33 ready. You already got pre-sales going because it's flying. Well, Taraji P. Henson recently shared how Beyonce ruined her Renaissance Tour ensemble. She was like, look, I have my outfit picked out for the show months in advance. Then she does the whole, it's my birthday, let's all wear silver thing. I mean, my house is being renovated. My clothes are in storage. So I randomly happened to buy one of these outfits, she said, off of an Instagram shopping page. She said the outfit arrived. It wasn't as good quality as she would have liked. She was going to throw it away, but she was like, it's Beyonce, and that's all the silver I had, so I had to put on silver sparkles for it. But she did say she had to throw it away at the end of the night. So, you know, B is changing the fashion thing. There's so much chrome that was featured in some of the fall. Well, they're the spring fashion shows that took place in the fall. And I definitely feel like Beyonce started that. I've always been like a silver girl. I like it. I love sequins. I love sparkles. So I had my look in the closet. I didn't have to do anything but reach in the closet and like, hey, I have a multiple options for this because I like sequins. But it's coming back. Are you for it? Are you against it? Do we care? I'm not sure. So listen, speaking of Beyonce's foe, I guess in the stands' eyes, Taylor Swift, you know, she's been all over the NFL. They've been counting down her appearances, how many times. Well, we also heard that Travis Kelce said on his podcast with his brother Jason that he feels like they're overdoing it, and that something about the NFL isn't used to having celebrities at the games, which, are you crazy? Yeah, they are. They're just taking advantage of a woman that can sell $100 million in advance in theater tickets, make non-viewers watch onto a game so that advertisers feel like they're getting their money's worth and want to pay more and all of that. But anyway, let's take it a step further. The NFL allegedly asked NBC, ESPN, Fox, and CBS to do show promos for free for Taylor's upcoming movie, according to the New York Post, her concert film, The Eras Tour. ESPN and NBC ended up showing some of the movie, a little commercial for it during their pre-games this past Sunday and Monday. ESPN played a promo for it during Sunday NFL Countdown and Monday NFL Countdown. NBC did it on their pregame show, Football Night in America, before the Chiefs and the Jets, fitting. And they also added a commercial during the NBC game. Now, the ad time was paid for, but they're not really sure, or they're not saying by whom. But 30-second spots are generally about $1 million for the Sunday night football game. So everybody is benefiting from Taylor Swift, the Taylor Swift effect. You know, some fans are complaining, hey, listen, these people aren't real football fans. They're not going to stick around. I don't think the NFL really cares. But there also is the conversation that the NFL is preparing to woo Taylor for the 2025 game, which makes all the sense in the world. I think that she obviously has enough fanfare, doesn't really match with football, but definitely goes in the spirit of the Super Bowl, which brings in all types of fans. She certainly will bring in eyes. You know, it could be. Rihanna currently has the most watched Super Bowl in history as far as streaming, I believe, for her performance. Yes, she does. Yeah, as far as in the streaming era, Rihanna's performance this past year is the highest streaming NFL viewed. I'm getting the language wrong, but basically it was Rihanna. She did that there. Since, you know, Jay-Z has taken over Rock Nation as far as the live performances, it's only gone up. Andy, come on. What you got to say?
I'm very surprised. I thought that maybe it would have been Dr. Dre and his performance, but I guess Rihanna being who she is and then her announcing her pregnancy, I'm sure that took it to the next level. Because
exactly.
for me, I understand she was pregnant. I was disappointed in the performance.
Here's the thing. I like Rihanna, and I get Rihanna is a vibe, but I think that she could have given a little bit more. I expected a little more. I'm not expecting her to be Beyonce and break out there with hella 1-2s and hit the choreo, but I do expect a little more wind, a little more emphasis, a little more into it. But again, she was pregnant. I can't be mad. She was suspended above the stadium. That was a lot. That took, you know, some gumption. So we'll see what happens. We know we got Usher next year. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be amazing. I think we can expect, I randomly, I was letting like one of the video things play today, and Usher's Yeah came on, and I was like, oh, we will see Little John and Ludacris in February, you know. And then here's the thing, we could also get hit off with the Lovers and Friends, maybe we know we're gonna get a Yeah for sure, right? But I would like, you know, something, one of those. This is for my true blue down home fans, that real R&B, something that just, you know.
You're not going to get it. I'm sorry, Jill.
You don't think so?
You're going to get, yeah. You're going to get, oh, my.
We definitely going to get that. You know, we might get Love in This Club or something. You're
going to get You Make Me Wanna.
Of course.
Like, I think everything.
My Way. You're going to get My Way, yeah.
Nice and slow.
Maybe more upbeat stuff. What else? What can we get off of Confessions that's a little...
Off of Confessions? What is it, Bad Girl?
Bad Girl, maybe, yeah. Or we might get him and Alicia Keys, My Boo.
My Boo.
So
but it's too slow.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of ways this could go.
I have high expectations for
I do too, and I think that he's going to deliver. You know what I forgot too, because we're so excited about Usher on the skates lately, is that Usher used to swing that chain, that U chain around his neck when he would move and do the moonwalk to the side. Listen, Usher has moves. I'm excited about that. Okay, let's get into this Tristian Thompson story. Trimester Thompson, listen, he's always in some stuff, right? This time, his confession about why he cheated on Khloe, I guess, him really loving her and some of those things were aired on a recent episode of the Kardashians Hulu series. But the thing that is making waves behind it, in addition to obviously we're addressing this topic for the 9,000th time, is that Jordan Craig, who is Tristan's oldest son, Prince's mother, she has a sister named Kai. Kai also has a child with a former NBA player. What is his name? Thompson. Not Thompson, that's Tristan. Thomas Robinson, I believe his name is. At any rate, she put out a post on Instagram in response to some of the things that Kim said in support of Tristan and some of the behaviors. So first, we'll get into Tristan's comments. Then we'll get into Kim's. And then we'll get into Kai's reaction to all of this, who's Jordan's sister. So I'm going to start with Tristan.
Do certain things to hurt certain people. I think the thing that always sticks to my mind, it's like, I know how much I care about you. I know how much I love you. You're my best friend. How come I meet my person? How come I've done so much wrong things to them? Like, why put you through that?
Tristan has said before, I'm his person.
Essentially, Tristan goes on to say that he really loves and cares about Khloe. He doesn't know why he treats her like that. She's his best friend, and he doesn't mean it. Also in this episode, Kim takes up in defense of Tristan. She basically says that, it sucks because he's a really good dad, that he's held her down with her children in the midst of everything that she's going through with Kanye. He has picked her kids up from school, been there for them, held them down. She is, unhappy with what he has done to her sister, but she seems to be in support of him and maybe leaning towards he and Khloe coming back together. So these are her comments.
Where is your relationship with Tristan?
I know you guys are going to hate me for this, and you're going to hate us, and you're going to think Khloe's whatever. It's so crazy because he's such a good friend, and he's such a good, dad, but he just couldn't get it together in that area of, being a faithful boyfriend. So it's you want to obviously hate him for that. Yeah, of course, his actions and who he was, so up. I can't deny that. And we've had our talks about it, and we've had our fights about it, and we've had our arguments about it. But he's also shown so many decent things and just has been a really good person and friend. When he saw me struggling with my kids, he stepped up. He started showing up to the games. He picks Saint up, takes them to dinner, and will always come to my defense, especially if it's stuff with me and my ex. And I just never forgot that. So it's I'll never really throw someone away and act like I don't feel like they can grow and evolve.
So here's the thing. That's beautiful, right? And we've been talking about this lately, about the room for people to grow. You have to give people that room, right? But on the flip side of that, well, here's a little bit about what he said about how he feels his children will view him when he gets older. He said, "It wasn't until I really had to look at myself. I never had to hold myself accountable. We're taught, be the man, do what you please, bros before H's. You got to just be your own man and don't care what people think and don't feel like you have to get validation from others." He said that the kids are at an age, True is 5, his daughter with Khloe, Prince is 6.5. He also has Oliver, who is, no, Prince is a little older than that. Oliver is his son with, I think, the other girl, the outside one that he doesn't really have any communication with. But he does recognize that they're all at an age where they understand what's being said in the media. He said, True is understanding stuff and Prince understands things where they go to school and they have classmates. The last thing I ever want is for them to feel embarrassed that I'm their father. I think I'm going down this journey that I've been on, especially with losing my mom. I always ask myself, why do certain things to hurt certain people? All of that sounds great, accountability, recognizing. However, Prince's aunt says, it has been so hard to refrain from speaking up, and out of respect for my sister's privacy, I haven't for over 7 years. But this is just too much. It's so painful to see how Tristan can find the time to do these nice things for others, but can't seem to show up and be the real parent for my nephew Prince. The fact that he can take other children to school and activities in the same city, yet never see or speaks to his own son unless it's for a party or a planned photo op, is appalling and inexcusable. Kim Kardashian, I don't want to believe that you are this insensitive to the fact that he literally ignores his children. That's nice if he's been a good friend to you, but let's consider our sisters before taking to global platforms to defend the man's character. On another note, to set the record straight, the child support rumors are inaccurate. Tristan has not paid that child support in a very long time. He stopped paying for Prince's school tuition, yet he's being applauded for picking and dropping off other kids to school activities. He hasn't even inquired where Prince goes to school now. Despite it all, my sister continues to work multiple jobs, as she has since she was 16 years old, so that Prince will never have to feel a difference. But regardless, stepping up for your son is not all about money. It's about the time spent. And that's very real. But here's the thing. As with Kim, Kai is also an aunt, so their perspectives are one layer removed. We're going to consider that. Kim may not know that he's not spending time at all with his other children. She can only give her opinion about the side that she sees. And I think that, it's fair to that. Just like in Kai's mind, there's no way that he could be a good father, which you can't argue with that, because if you're not at least attempting to take care of all of your children, what are you doing? You don't really have an excuse for that. But it's going to get interesting. Tristan has yet to respond. We know he has a complete other son that he is choosing legally not to get involved with. That was part of the agreement that they came to terms with. And it's just sad that you're being that reckless and not understanding how it will impact your children. So hopefully Tristan can get it together. They can all come to some sort of happy medium, because, again, the kids recognize this. It's not like back in the day. The stuff isn't going to be stuffed down or buried. They're going to hear about it, and they're going to hear about it in school day in and day out. And the reality is kids can be cruel, and you can't really control that. So when we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We're going to get into, Sexy Red and what happened with her, what academics' response was. We're going to get into Flo Milli and her comments about herself and how fans are reacting to her. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis with the latest from the Black Information Network. Alabama's congressional map now has 2 districts for black voters. The new map features one district with nearly 49% black voters and another with just under 52%. Former President Trump is asking a judge to dismiss his federal election interference case. Trump's legal team argues his actions leading up to the 2021 attack on the Capitol are protected by presidential immunity. Trump was indicted by a federal grand jury in August for his alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Detroit's Motown Museum has revealed its expansion for the first time in a private event for donors yesterday. The museum's The Motown Experience will bring visitors back in time using classic photos showing the family environment of the studio in the 1960s and 70s. The second exhibit is called The Backstage Lounge, and it features new music and interviews with Motown artists. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, any member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose America.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
about you. A to the L-I-Y-A-H. How could they know? How could they know about you? Say this all. How could they know? How could they know?
Don't let them tell you any different. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. I owe it all to you. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it. And as much as I messed up, always give me your best love. Yeah. They don't know about us. They don't know about it.
Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I hope you are relaxed. We have more trending topics to get into. That was real vibey. I like that on a Thursday night. So this is random. I'll shoot based on that song. Did you guys ever have those what's understood doesn't need to be explained? We don't talk about it, but we're locked in. Is that something that you believe in? Do those type of relationships seem to be more exciting because they're in secret? That's what I think. Anyway, that was just a quick random question. And so listen, the NBA is traveling to Abu Dhabi this season, right? They're there right now for preseason, connecting over there, expanding the game. And of course, a bunch of celebrities have dropped down to go check out the preseason action. But the funny thing that is making the rounds on social media now is a photograph of Steve Harvey and Michael B. Jordan at the games over there. And Steve Harvey looks so excited to see Michael B. Jordan. He has his arms around him close up. So, of course, you know, social media is going in. Some are saying he's like, man, who is Damson? I said, where is my damn son, Michael? You know, he's looking very happy. You know, other commentary, you know, I got you whatever you need. You know, you always going to be my son. You always there for me. And it really does look like that. I know Damson and Lori seem happy. You know, their relationship is not as high profile as her relationship was with Michael B. Jordan or some of the other men that they dated. You know, they're trying to make fetch happen, but maybe they're just quietly evolving. But it did kind of appear like Steve Harvey is very much interested in maybe his daughter circling the block, heading back around. But, you know, he might be in a relationship or something. Also, we know that Drew Barrymore, before the writer's strike ended, was thinking about bringing her show back. She was going to have basically scab writers create the content, but decided against it. Well, she is coming back October 16th because the Writers Guild of America strike is over. However, all of the writers that were on staff declined to come back to the show based off of her wanting to initially come back before the strike was over. So I say kudos to them because that's a position to take, right? Listen, they are standing their ground. They are 3 writers, all women, Chelsea White, Christina Keenan, and Liz Coe. And they're interviewing new writers, and it will be in compliance with the guild. You know, no scabs going forward. But I say that is what striking is about. And if you can't afford to take that stance and stand on it, I definitely believe that it sends a message, and it's important. So the thing is, what she was doing was permissible under the network television code. It's a separate contract, so technically isn't considered as strike work, but in the eyes of the writers and the people that are standing pat, they felt that she was out of line. So we know that that was September 10th when it happened. She said she owned the choice. She bowed out of her hosting duties for the MTV Movie Awards. She also was removed from, I think it was the Book Reward Awards. So we'll have to see what happens when she returns. Drew had developed a reputation as the talk show host with a heart. She was, you know, a lot of tears, a lot of on the ground, but breakthroughs with some of her artists, especially ones that were former child stars or had come up through the same time frame as her through the 80s. They had a different sort of connection. I remember one of her really touching moments was a conversation with she and Brooke Shields, both having gone through something similar at the time, but we will see what develops with that one. Do you guys think that she was out of line, or do you think that it fits right in with, what the rules say? Anyway, we have more. This story is kind of sad, and I think that, obviously we're post Me Too. And when I say post Me Too, not saying that all of the issues from that have been resolved, not saying that everything has been wrapped up and justice has been due to other people that were standing and looking for it, but that women's feelings and thoughts are more in the forefront than perhaps they were before all of this happened. Obviously, Harvey Weinstein is in jail. We've seen all of these other things. Well, the music industry, we've seen some stories about that, Kesha and Dr. Luke. We've heard stories, but add another one. Jason Derulo is being sued by a woman from a group that he allegedly tried to sign. So what the allegations are is that basically Jason met a woman named Imaza, and she was in a group. Her mom managed her, and that he said that he wanted to work with her, sign her. Some people have questioned how an artist that hasn't had a hit record since 2009 could potentially help someone. But I say if he's in the industry, maybe it doesn't work for him, but doesn't mean he doesn't have connections, doesn't mean that he couldn't make it work for her. But some people, people question everything on social media. But what allegedly happened was that he said that he wanted her to go to the studio to work. But before that, he invited her to his hotel. He said it was going to be a meeting to discuss, not at his hotel, at his house. And that he became upset when she declined. And when, I guess the following day, she was late to a studio session and he started yelling at her and charged at her. She said that at one point he had invited her to drinks and dinner at a members-only lounge. She declined, trying to keep the relationship strictly professional. He also kept, sort of pursuing her. And every time she declined, he would get a little upset. So she said she finally agreed to have a drink with him. And he was giving her inappropriately large amounts of alcohol. She said she took a sip and told him it was too strong for her and that she wasn't a drinker. And so he's like, it's not listening. I tell you the first time, well, she's like, you're giving me pressure. And he kept pressuring her. And then he responded by saying, you might have to take part in goat skin and fish scales then. What is goat skin and fish scales? When we come forward, I'll let you know, because I learned something with this language that I had never heard of, and now I'm going to share it with you. All of that and more, you're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Walk to Save Lives. Join the American Heart Association's Los Angeles Heart and Stroke Walk, Sunday, October 22nd at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Team up with friends and family and walk to end heart and stroke. Every step you take and every dollar raised will help save lives and make our community a healthier place for all. Learn more and sign up for free at heartwalkla.org. Sponsored by Optum, UCLA Health, Providence, Keck Medicine of USC, and Dignity Health.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You're locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we are discussing the alleged lawsuit, well, I guess the alleged behavior of artist Jason Derulo. A civil suit was filed against him, alleging that he was demanding sex in exchange for success, basically, when trying to sign this young woman. And listen, she said that he told her she might have to take part in goat skin and fish scales. I have never heard of such. So imagine my surprise when she revealed what these things are. She told NBC News that she was aware that fish scales referred to a strain of cocaine, but that she had to look up what Derulo meant by doing goat skin. All right, so fish scales and cocaine. So he wanted to fish scales and goat skin. So he wanted her to do coke and from online articles, goat skin is about rituals involving sex, goat sacrifices, and blood that appear in some form or fashion. So we aren't sure what Jason Derulo was on, if this is factual, according to her. But that sounds like a lot. Andy?
Jason Derulo is lame. Considering who you are, I mean, you're not like a A-list celebrity, but you know, you're in the game. People know of you.
TikTok blew him up.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, not that I swing that way, but you know, you're a handsome gentleman. I'd like to assume and think that, I don't want to say it'll be easier for him to pick up women or whatnot, but you shouldn't have to go through those extreme lengths just to go ahead and get some booty. Like, come on, Jason Derulo.
Seems like it was probably a power play.
Okay.
And lame, I agree with you. So in some ways, it doesn't surprise me that, again, don't know him. I don't want to say that it doesn't surprise me that he would do something like this because I don't know him. I don't know him to have any behavior to have done this previously. But, you know, believe women sometimes. We'll get into why I say sometimes later on. That's going to be a topic. But I don't know. She also mentioned that there was a showcase that she attended, and there was a woman there named Rosa, right? And she was introduced to her, and that while they were alone, she said the Rosa woman told her that Derulo invited her along because he was on some F stuff basically implying that Derulo was having a relationship with Rosa. And she said she felt that Gibson, the woman that is filing the suit, she felt that the woman's attendance was a sign of career progress. Basically, because you're sleeping with this dude, now you're moving ahead. She's advancing. So she was thrown off guard. There was supposedly a little argument with that. And when she asked him about her, he immediately got angry. She said he lost control, began aggressively hitting his armrest. He was in a car, I guess, and screaming, "What does she have to do with you? We weren't going to tell you anything. We don't have to tell you anything." Then he went silent. So just, a lot of shenanigans. This went on for maybe a year or so in some form or fashion. And she says that what was the final straw was when she arrived late for a studio session and she was caught in traffic. There were some dignitaries in town in Los Angeles for the Summit of the Americas. So real life, something happened that she could have got caught up in as far as traffic. And she said when she got there, he ran up in her face and was like, why are you late? Berating her in front of staff and everyone. Her mom was there. And so that was the final straw. And that was the last time she saw him and talked to him. And now she's filing this suit. So far, he hasn't responded, but I'm sure he will. And, we're going to see what develops from this. But unfortunately, people wanting to get into entertainment are sometimes put in positions where, they feel like they have to do whatever or be nice to people that are already in authority so that they don't get a bad reputation put on them before they've even stepped foot in the door. And sometimes it's not necessarily that they've done anything. Again, don't know this woman's case. There's been some people online that are saying that she and her mother and her family have done some things to be clickbaity on the net. We'll have to see how the facts of the case bear out, because even if some of that is true, that doesn't mean that she should have been set up in a position to potentially have been harassed. The other side of that, which is a story that we'll get into later, is how do you know when people are okay with something until it's not benefiting them and stop? It's a very delicate subject. Sometimes it's a hard conversation to have because you never want to discredit a woman, especially someone that could potentially have been a victim. The situations are generally, when we're talking about this stuff, serious and sensitive, but at the same time, it's so easy to say whatever and people will believe you. And in the blink of an eye, especially now at this point, your whole life can be ruined. Everything you've worked hard for just for something that was a money play. So we'll have to see what goes down in the chat. The chat is buzzing. Tony Yayo says, Derulo reminds me of the Jimmy Allen situation. Listen, there's a lot of things that happen. Like I said, later on, we're going to get into the Trevor Bauer situation. There's also the situation, someone mentioned Mel Tucker. And, there's some things that he alleged still looks bad because there's no hiding anymore. I don't know why people think it's very hard to get anything done undercover if that is what you are trying to do. There's so many ways, so many avenues that things can come out that it kind of doesn't make sense to do anything that's not of the up and up, or at least not something that you're prepared to stand on should it come out in the open, because chances are good it's going to come out in the open. Listen. Lynn says, I was trying to tweet AKA X and could barely tweet because Jill had me busting a rib. What did I say? I like when I'm funny. I like when I can make you guys laugh. I appreciate that, Lynn. So someone mentioned Deion Sanders in the chat. I've been meaning to say this for days. Look, Deion is obviously the coaching guru right now. The Philadelphia 76ers are having their training camp in Colorado. Why? I don't know. When they want to get ready when they play the Nuggets, make sure that they're practicing that good air quality. It's only one game a year that they play there. I don't know, but that's where their training camp was. And the other night, they had a session with Coach Prime, you know? Listen, Deion has all the gems, all the jewels, all the answers. They do have a new head coach, Nick Nurse. One of the players was talking about how it's been freeing playing in this situation with Nurse because he gets everybody involved as opposed to Doc Rivers' offense that really was only about 2 players. So I thought that was interesting. Obviously, the Sixers are in a very precarious situation because James Harden doesn't want to be there. Embiid is probably, whether you feel that way internally or he feels that way externally, it's probably time to move on or make a move as far as Embiid, because right now it's been a lot of years of nothing, nothing really evolving, really getting to where the expectations were. And listen, has anybody seen or heard from Ben Simmons in Brooklyn? Do we think we're finally going to see anything from Ben? I would hope so. Andy?
James Harden did show up to
He
practice.
He did finally show up. He just missed media day. He's there. But we know he don't want to be there. And, listen, that's a lot of damage.
I think it would, James Harden, man, if you listening, bro, it would be in your best interest. Your reputation is already sullied. It's already kind of extremely damaged. It'll be in your best interest to ball out this year. You have a new coach. Just like you said, Jill, it seems as if the players like what Nick Nurse is doing. Just buy in and ball out. Give one more year. And then if you're still unhappy, then you could bounce. But just thug it out for one more year.
Do you think, though, that the outspokenness of Harden, even though I guess you could say he's earned that as a vet in this league, there's also the rumors of the conversation that Stephen A. Smith put out there that when Harden met with Coach Ime Udoka, he said that he wanted to reclaim his scoring title. He might have had a little too much dip on his chip, and that turned Ime off. Do you think that Harden has just sort of shot his load with the league at this point?
Yes.
And well, there it is right there. Yeah. When we come forward, we're going to get into 50 Cent. Is he being a bully still? Is this still, even though it's authentically 50, are we tired of the media mogul taking this approach? Or does Diddy just deserve this? We're also going to talk about Sexy Red and a broken clock that is right a broken clock is right twice a day. And there's someone that is right in reference to Sexy Red, in their opinion. And more trending topics and headlines, of course. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
And I bet you love me. Yeah. They don't know about us.